What's up, guys? It's your boy Lazy Asso, and today we're going to be going over the new economy changes in Marvel Strike Force, and we're going to be going over the farmability of High Evolutionary and the 7 red, how much it's going to cost for your Professor X 7 red stars. All right, let's get into it. The game economy update. Hello, commanders. We know that the game economy and resource availability have been the biggest issue on everyone's mind. We've heard the questions and concerns over the past few months, and now it's time for some, but not all, answers. The changes you have seen over the past month have been leading up to a fundamental redesign of Marvel Strike Force's game economy going live on May 4th with the launch of Age of Fear. This blog will break down why we're making these changes, what you can generally expect across the game going forward, and how these updates will impact different types of players across the community. Some of this is still in progress, and we know this will open even more questions will be there to answer as we lock in the remaining details in this coming weeks. Why we're making these changes? We all want this game to be around for the long haul. Over time, inflation and legacy reward distributions have gradually widened the gap across the player base, and problems like late game players receiving rewards they can't use in their current progression, and early game players being unable to progress in their first weeks of gameplay. The resources scarcity you've experienced in recent months has been a side effect of interim fixes and ahead of the broader redesign we'll unpack in this blog. But that 100% includes ensuring Marvel Strike Force is sustainable as a business, but there are many things we're trying to achieve across the game. Address a long-term inflation that has created uneven chase experiences, resource volatility, and progression gaps across the player base. Making player value and rewards clearer and more consistent across different levels of playtime, difficulty, and game modes. Ensure players at different progress levels across the game receive resources most relevant to their roster goals and progression. Update chapter store with more resource volume, increased progression velocity, and offer paying players clearly defined periods of exclusivity for character shards, making the game easier for new players to understand, join, and enjoy. The make progression feel more meaningful for players at different stages of the game. It reduces instances in which paying players make purchases with a randomized element or uncertain outcome. As a free to play game, you should be able to play for free and have fun. If you choose to pay, you should feel like you're getting a premium experience for your money. These changes are intended to better achieve that balance. What this means for your gameplay: introduction of purple L4 and L5 ions G21 gear and gold to the limited chapter store, more consistent acquisitions of gold through daily objectives, more consistent acquisitions of L4 training modules through arena events become a key source of power cores at Age of Fear. Update chapter store path for new characters availability aligned with character tab behaviors. Main and gear store now offer higher tier content. Introduction of T-Force to Cosmic Crucible. Getting full teams will take more active engagement. This will have different effects depending on how you play and where you are in the game. Free to play for free to play players, this means more predictable access paths to the resources needed to progress, even if total rewards are redistributed. For premium players, early access and acceleration should feel more valuable. New and early game. For new and early game players, this should make progression paths more relevant and easier to follow. Mid game. For mid game players, the focus is on smoothing bottlenecks and making core resources more consistently available. For end game players, the rewards should better align with where you are in the game with less clutter from outdated items. Harder adjustments will be around baseline expectations going forward. Expect the engagement will mean even more to your progression. Getting full teams with only resources rewards will be the exception, not the rule, with decision making and use of the chapter store and character shop more important. Team and character releases will build on each other and be more important to progression throughout the age. We know these changes will be a major shift in how the game is played, but they're a big part of what's needed to make all of our new content and game mode improvements meaningful and sustainable across the entire player community. What's changing? Daily objectives. Starting with the new age, completing all daily objectives will be the most straightforward way to earn gold. Centralizing this is in a feature that most players complete every day. Orange gear will be replaced by 1 million gold in the daily objectives all clear rewards. Introduction of new rewards package specifically for level 110 commanders, replacing smaller, lower impact rewards. Green gear, green ISO 8, etc. with gold. Strike pass points will remain unchanged. Gold is a universal bottleneck for all players, and addressing this here is our main priority. In the arena will no longer be the primary source for power cores. Instead, this feature will offer L4 training modules to encourage players to upgrade and play with their favorite characters more consistently. Remove chapter credits, power cores, added L4 training module. So no more power cores for your arena rewards. That's gonna suck. This creates a more reliable way to acquire training modules for all players types. Players who relied heavily on arena for power cores. This shifts where those resources are earned. In events, you'll see more power cores in Age of Fear events, increased power cores. So they're moving to events instead of getting cores through arena. So I guess that we'll see how that goes. Cosmic Crucible, this PvP mode will now offer ability materials, remove gold, L4 training modules, chapter credits, added T4 ability materials, unchanged Dark Diamond credits. This aligned rewards with a key progression needed for mid-game and in-game players to focus on upgrading abilities. Blitz will now primarily offer shop credits and early game orb, removed chapter credits, gold, unchanged shop credits, and orbs. This keeps Blitz aligned with the early progression and maintains its role as a steady source of shop credits for all players. Available for power cores, purchase G20 gear mini uniques. The main store. Gear store added for shop credit purchases G19 mini uniques, red, crimson gear, including origin piece, unique piece, and catalyst. These changes provide players progression into later stages of the game with more direct access to high-end gear. Chapter store, we've introduced a purple L4, L5 ions, G21, and gold to the chapter on a rotating time limit basis. Primary section shards will be introducing new rotation system to release newer characters to the store. Here's how it will work. So this is what we're looking at. This is how it's going to be working. So it's going to be rotating on these. All right. So the new characters is introduced into rotation around 3 weeks after the initial character offer. The character is added to a pool of 3 total possible character slots. This is the new character and the 2 most recent new characters. You have a random chance to get one of these 3. When the next character releases arrives, the oldest one in the slot A will be pushed out into the permanent guaranteed slot in the store. This repeats with each new character bumping the oldest one out. Randomized slot A and into a guaranteed slot every 3 character releases or so. For players who purchase early offers, early access remains valuable for all players, and characters will continue to remain available through structured time-based guarantee systems. Cost reduction G20, G19, ISO 8, T3 level 1 purple crystals, increase the quantities, crimson uniques, origin gear, catalyst L4 training modules, awaken abilities, limited section character shards are being removed from rotation, added to G21, ISO 8, T3 level 4 ions, ISO 8, T3 level 5 ions, gold. These updates are designed to make the chapter store a more targeting resource of key progression resources, especially for mid-game and in-game players. The gold update was added based on the community feedback to further improve gold access. Orbs and power cores, we've heard the system feedback that lower certain systems, especially those that let players spend without guaranteed progress towards the characters they want. It feels frustrating. We are currently evaluating the role power cores play in the new character acquisition. While power cores will continue to be important currency across the game, we are exploring changes that may reduce their use in directly acquiring new characters during initial release windows. So we're not going to be able to core characters anymore. That's what I'm reading here. Our goal is to create a system where players have clearer, more reliable ways to unlock characters, and where spending at any level feels more meaningful, rewarding. These changes are still under consideration and may evolve. Building a new Age of Fear Marvel Strike Force. These changes are part of the charting a stronger path forward for Marvel Strike Force on a firmer foundation. They represent a shift towards a more structured, engagement based, and progression focused economy. While some system players are used to are changing, the goal is to create a healthier balance that supports all types of players, from the new players just to starting out to long-time veterans. We'll be carefully monitoring the rollout, tuning these changes to ensure they are achieving their intended goals, and we'll share how the new economy is progressing with the full player community. All right, so these are the new changes. Let me go back to the game here and show you what we got for this. All right, so here's how we're going to be getting the high evolutionary is farmable. I'm showing you that right now. High evolutionary is farmable currently in the Terra credit store, so that's going to be exciting right now. And then I wanted to show you the. Let me go back here, and we'll show you the new how much it's going to cost for Professor X here. So you see this, we are having to spend 700k terror credits just for a 7 red Professor X. Anyways, that's all I got for today, folks. I appreciate y'all kicking it with your boy. And hit that like button if you like this video. If you got any information, good information out of it, I appreciate you guys again. And we'll catch you on the next video.